understanding that sometimes you still need to be doing shit. So I wanted to talk about really there's three main pillars about what we're talking about. And I thought, why not just hop on, do a little training. If I put you there and I put you there, and then you lot are there, that works out all right, I think. So yeah, I wanted to do that in a way that's going to sort of help move things forward. So one of the big things that we find for a huge amount of people is there's three main pillars that we've got to think about within our business. So if you're here in a minute, we're here on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then you guys here on Instagram as well. There's your mindset, the skill set, and the habits. You can have the best business in the world, but if you're doing a really shitty job at actually getting things to work, you're going to screw it up. And a lot of people now, they put more effort into getting everyone else to think about what they're doing rather than actually doing the thing that they can do in a way that'll actually move them forward. I was going to move you a bit closer, TikTok. I feel like you're really far away for no reason. So that might be a little bit better. And as the weather's so nice today on the bank holiday, I thought, why not get out here and have a little session, I guess, talking about this a bit more. Because it is something that we talk about a lot of the time with our clients. Hi, Paddy. And if you're here on Instagram, if you're here on TikTok, if you're here on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, I want you to realize that, and I don't want this to sound harsh, and I know typically I sound harsh all the time, but I think there's a real big thing about in your business, if we're not getting the revenue, the results, the sales that we want, it's going to come down to one of those three areas. It's going to come down to your mindset, it's going to come down to your skill set, it's going to come down to your habits. And what a lot of people do, and this is where I think genuine people screw up, is they start putting the blame everywhere else. If you're like, oh, the industry's gone to shit, oh, there's a cost of living crisis, all of those things, they can be real, they can be genuine, but it can't be the reason your business doesn't succeed. So it's really, really, as a primary focus, it has to be that we accept the fact that our mindset, our skill set, and our habits are all within our control. And when you get to the stage where you actually accept that your mindset, skill set, habits are in your control, and if you adjusted those to the right way, you'll do better, everything opens up far more. And this isn't to say that your mindset's bad, but it might just need a slight adjustment and a slight improvement. I talk about a football analogy all the time, which is ironic because I am not remotely interested in football. But if you were playing football and you were taking a shot on goal, you can see how much you miss the goal by. Oh, I'm 20% off. I'm hitting the bar. I'm hitting it in row G. So then you know how big a change you need to make to get from where you are now to that next stage. How nice does it sound, by the way, with the sea? It sounds so nice. But in business, it's different. You don't know how many times you were one word, one sentence, one phrase, 5 more minutes of conversation, one perspective shift away from converting that person that didn't buy into a buying client. And if we think that it's always an external factor, that also means, yeah, hey bud, yeah, we're in Cowes at the moment. This is where we're at. This is why we all mess it up. Because if you believe that it's because of the government or cost of living crisis or whatever it's going to be that's actually genuinely holding you back, that means it's an external factor that's a problem. That means that you're out of control of what you can actively change to fix things. When actually we need to be more proactive in the fact of realizing, do you know, if I take full responsibility, I'm trying to hydrate today, by the way. if we take full responsibility for everything that we do, for the wins and for the failures, it means when we're not getting the results we've got, we'll look internally at what changes we can make to actually move it forward. And I think it's one of the most overlooked parts. It's not nice, but it's really important. So I want to talk about a couple of things today, just to make life a little bit easier. And this is a bit of a breakdown, which I've spent quite a bit of time with over the last couple of weeks, which has been going out to our actual clients. And I wanted to share some of this today, because hopefully some of you guys will take away. Now, some of this stuff you'll have heard before, some of it might be completely new, but just take something from it and action it. Or if you watch this at training, if you watch me talk now and you go, I hate Dave Angel, block me. Go and find someone else to fill that space. Because we are so overwhelmed now with knowledge and information, but we're not doing ourselves any favor by watching people that you're not completely brought into. And I genuinely think this is a hurdle we've got. And the big thing we've got with these social medias, whether you're here on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, whether you're here on TikTok, whether you're here on Instagram, is we're getting bombarded continuously with information, with new ideas, new plans. And sometimes we haven't sat in a place long enough over existing plans to actually work out if it really will work. We haven't become effective or efficient in the thing we were trying. And what we end up doing is just trying and testing stuff out. And as soon as something good comes along with a massive promise, we end up just abandoning our plan and moving into a new plan. And it's like starting from zero. But actually, if we focus on the mindset, skill set, habit side, it means that you're fully in control and you're always just trying to make those adjustments. And one of the big things, and this is what I was taught by a mentor of mine probably 5 years ago, and I knew it and I forgot it. And how many times does that happen in our lives? That you learn something, but you forget it. And it's really, really simple. We need to make sure, by the way, if you're putting questions in here, I don't know if I'll come around to them today, and it's not for intention, it's just because we've got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Feel free to drop me a DM with any questions. If you're looking for help, just drop me a DM. We've got videos I can just send to you to help probably. I will try and come around to some questions though, if you hang around. So when you think about this, everyone who's ever set up a business, anyone, they got your paper napkin, you sat down when you thought about the vision for your business and you wrote down what that plan was going to be. You broke it all down and you worked out how much money you thought you were going to make, how successful the business was going to be. And if you don't have now that business, we've got to realize that there's something that needs to change for us to get to that stage. So the goals aren't the problem, and we don't rise to our goals. We fall backwards to our systems and our processes and our skills. And this is why it's so important to realize that goals are great for you to get a bit of direction. Goals are great for you to get a rah-rah moment. Goals are great for you to get a victory once you achieve it. But actually, the big problem that we have is our system lets us down on what we're actually doing them through. And one thing I'm a bit different to a lot of people. I don't think people don't fail because they don't want it enough. I think people want their goals. I think people want to achieve it. But I think it's because they don't have a daily execution or a daily rhythm that matches what their goals are trying to do. And this isn't actually about working harder. When I was at the gym, a lot of the time it's just working smarter rather than harder. Because if you can get more effective in the things that you do, it means you can work less and make more. And that's what we do with our Conversations to Clients program. We're getting people to have less conversations, but convert more of them to high-paying clients because they're right with mindset, skill set, and habits. That means it can move forward. So why does all this matter? We've talked before, and you might have seen some of this, we spoke about this a lot. We've got our scale method, which is source high quality leads, convert leads into appointments, align and close those, leverage follow-up, and then elevate your sales. And then we've got another part of it, which is our do, delegate, or pay. So either you've got to do it, you delegate it to a team, or you need to pay an external party into it. And one of the big things that we've got is there's an execution gap between what you know needs to happen and actually what does happen.
How nice it is with the sea coming in today.
So nice when you can hear that. And there's a execution gap between what we know and what we need to do. So many nice boats going past today. So what we want to start thinking about is the system that you have in place to effectively move forward will make a difference. This is where businesses leak, and I mean leak revenue, is because they don't have time blocking in place. They don't have any rhythm. They don't have any consistent things being done. Who am I talking to? So at the moment, currently, we've got TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we've got, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So we're currently on 5. Is that 5? 4. 5 places. So you want to think about this now. What is the cost of inconsistency? It's pretty brutal. You're going to be wasting leads, you're going to lose sales, and eventually it will actually affect your confidence as well. Because if you're consistently not getting results, if you're consistently going out to the marketplace and not generating sales that you want, it's going to end up messing with your head a bit. And then it means you don't execute at a high level, which messes it all up. So prime example, one of the clients I had before, he was always telling me about he was always busy with leads, he was always busy with calls, busy with appointments. But when we actually looked at the numbers, he hadn't actually brought in really any new clients for the space of he hadn't booked an appointment for 2 weeks. And the problem that we've got is he was working many hours, he was working long hours, but actually he wasn't being productive as well as he could within the hours that he had. And it wasn't because he didn't want it, but what ended up happening was because he wasn't being productive around the areas of generating high quality leads, converting leads into appointments, aligning and closing people, eventually his pipeline dried up. And it wasn't because he didn't know what to do, but it was because he didn't systematize the execution behind the actual process. And that's what happens with a lot of these things. On the surface, people are thinking, just work harder, just work harder, just work harder. But here's the kicker. They thought, most of these clients, it was an industry problem. They thought it was leads messing them around. And it wasn't until they had a belief shift and a perspective shift that actually they could go out to the marketplace with a different alignment to actually make a difference. And that is one of the big things that we managed to do, is make a massive difference for people right now going off and getting a shift in the mindset, the skill set, and the habits. And this isn't saying that you guys have to go and work for someone like me. You don't. A lot of this stuff you can go and do on your own. But actually, if you don't understand where you are, I'll give you a prime example. Let's say you're a boxer and you're getting in the ring and you're winning fights. Cool. Keep doing what you're doing. But actually, if you're going into fights with the best intention and you practice and you're fit and you're healthy and you're strong and you've got good boxing skills, but you keep getting beat up, having someone in your corner to be able to tell you when your guard's dropping down, when your footwork's off, or tell you what they're doing at the other side makes a massive difference. And for some people out there, you've got to be at the stage where you're moving things forward. And the whole point behind this is boats turning. Your system turns effort more into actual outcomes. And without them, a lot of these leaks will just pop up. And a lot of the time, deals aren't made in one big moment. Deals are actually made within the cracks. And they're missed within these cracks as well. And this is morning Aidan, morning Swifty, morning everyone. So if you hear on about to be a crash. I didn't realise this, but the different horn things for boats all means different stuff. I think that was more shut up and get out of the way. So we want to start thinking more about it, about the small deliberate actions that are actually going to go forward. If we're finding our business isn't actually moving in the right way, there's going to be clues, there's going to be hints. I actually had a guy before that said to me, but he just didn't know why and how things weren't going their way. And so all he was trying to do was work harder and harder and harder and harder. But actually, it's not going to help if you don't have the right skill set, mindset, and habits in place. So here's some questions you should be asking yourself if you want to start working this out. 1, which area would you say that you need to show more commitment to? So whether you're here on TikTok, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, what is the area that you need to focus more on in the business? Is it the sourcing more high quality leads? Is it converting leads into appointments? Is it aligning and closing people to generate results? Is it the fact you don't have any follow-up? Is it expanding the revenue through referrals, testimonials, and other areas? You've got to be at the stage that you're really thinking about this there. And actually, is it more the aligning and closing side, or is it the fact you didn't have enough appointments to start with? Or is it the fact that you've got such a low level of appointments, when you do get in front of aligning and closing someone, you freak out, and that means you put too much pressure on yourself, they feel that, and then they get uncertain. It's really, really important to start working all this stuff out. Because a lot of the time out there's simple things you've got. And one of the big things I think for a lot of people is, in the same way that you guys wake up in the morning and brush your teeth, you should have an alignment within your business. And there's a real cost to not having, yes, mate, it's been a great week. Hope you've had a good weekend. I'm looking forward to a call later, Aidan. There's a real cost to not having all this system aligned. It's not just stress. It's not just frustration and longer hours. It's a real missed revenue issue that you have. Most people out there see the issue as being leads or ads or the market. But 9 times out of 10, it's actually a lack of consistent routine actually moving forward. And it's one of the big parts of this. If you've got a repeatable structure, it's less of a gamble within your business because there's consistent actions coming through. So I'll give you a little framework which we spoke to my guys before about loss. So you've got lead rot, which is where your actual initial problem happens. So people not following up, not doing the work. Opportunities being missed. That's for prospects to competitors, all the other jazz. Stress rising, chaos, burnout because you're not doing the stuff that you need to do. And sales vanish because you end up in a place that you should be really at the stage. If you're talking about solar's a bit different. Drop me a DM and I can send some details over on that. By the way, we work in 19 industries. So sometimes you'll hear us talk about sort of 30,000 foot overviews. And other times you'll hear us talk about precise industries, solar, coaching, recruitment, property, whatever that might be. So sometimes when you hear stuff, it might be a 30,000 foot view or it might be a tailored precise one. If you need something tailored and precise, come back to us. Happy to have a chat. So we're not going to see all this stuff change overnight. And most businesses don't die overnight. It's normally a slow, drowning death. And it's because the consistent actions aren't being done. And a lot of the time out there, we're not doing it to the best of our ability because we don't have confidence. And a lot of the time, we don't have confidence because we're not getting results. And we're not getting results because we're not doing the consistent actions we need to have belief and confidence in the things that we're actually doing. And this is where I want you guys to start changing things up. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say things like, our ads aren't working. The leads are messing us about. They're not highly qualified. We're spending this money and throwing it away. But actually, what you want to start asking is some reflection questions. So maybe you want to take some of these down, try and implement these in your business. Where in your business right now are you actually bleeding sales because you don't have a repeatable system? Is it your leads are sitting too long in your inbox? Is it the fact they're not getting contact enough not to actually get through them? Is the opportunity slipping out to your competitors because you're slow to act? Is it the stress that makes you avoid picking up the phone, turning up at your best self? Because that's a genuine thing that happens. And a lot of people sugarcoat this stuff. Or is it sales vanishing through inconsistent actions? So when you think about a couple of areas that you want to think about within this, one, you've got to start running your day a little bit better. You've got to get really serious and really committed to actually getting things organized. A lot of people out there are firefighting in their businesses. Now, for the next couple of weeks, it might be hard and it might take a lot of effort to go and get this done, but it's so worthwhile. You shouldn't be waking up on the morning going, right, what do I need to deal with now? There should be consistent action. I said this about someone the other day. Imagine you're the business owner, but imagine now you're a member of staff and someone's going to come and give you an appraisal for each area of your business. Sourcing high quality leads, imagine that was one job. Another job was converting leads into appointments. Another job was aligning, closing people. Another job was follow-up. Another job was expanding through revenue, multiple MRR, that type of stuff. And you had to get a rating for your performance and your effort on each one of those areas. How good you're doing at generating leads, how good you're doing at setting appointments, how good you're doing at aligning and closing, how good you're doing at following up, how good you're doing at expanding the revenue. What would be your score for each one of these areas? And actually, you'll have an indicator because you know deep down within your business, and this is if you're doing the selling. If you're a business owner and you've got a sales team, you should understand this is even more important. But the big problem is with this, if you're a business, so a lot of the solar companies, for example, a lot of them are founder-led sales. They've got very minimal time to be doing all of those roles, generating leads normally from paid ads. So they're stuck with a lot of their effort is trying to go into converting leads into appointments, aligning and closing, and a degree of follow-up. And what they're doing is they're half baking their cakes. They're half going committed to this stuff, and it's not helping them move forward. And what you end up doing is sort of doing this and you're sort of doing that, and you end up screwing yourself over. I'll give you an example. Let's say I want to make bake a cake. I made one with my son last night. We made a red velvet cake. Okay. Hey, Dan, I am going to try and do some questions. And this goes for anyone. So if you're here on Insta, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, a lot of the time, if you've got questions, you're probably better off messaging. I will try and come around to them, but I think there's about 10 at the moment, and I don't always get around to them. So if I don't, please do message me because I do want to help. Let's say you're going to bake a cake. We were baking a cake, me and my boy, last night. So we've got the ingredients, we've got a recipe, we've got all the utensils, we've got an oven, we've got all the equipment. Now, it doesn't matter how great the ingredients are if we don't put the right mixture together. It doesn't matter how good the equipment is if I don't use it in the right way. It doesn't matter how good the recipe is if I don't stick to it. But even if I did stick to the right recipe, the right ingredients, the right equipment, and I mixed it all up in the right way, and I put it in the oven, but I took it out 10 minutes sooner than it should be, it would still be a bag of shit. And what a lot of people are doing with their business is they've got the right recipe to a degree for the business, not for sales. They've got some of the equipment, they've got some of the skills, and what we're trying to do is guess it together randomly based on how we feel on that day and hoping that it actually moves us forward. But when you think of it like that, that wouldn't work with a recipe. So why would it work with our business, the thing that pays your mortgage? And this is why it's so important. Sales is, I keep looking behind me today because it's so nice out here. I'm going out my paddleboard in a bit. It is so important to realize that got off. Hang on. I don't know if you can still hear me, TikTok. I'm just unplugging that mic because it's gone, so you should be able to still hear me. It is so important to realize that a lot of the stuff that we're doing within our business, if it's guesswork and it's being done based on how we feel on that day, it's not going to get the very best of us. And if sales is the lifeblood for your business, and maybe you're doing it now at the moment where you're not that focused, you're not enjoying it, you're not great at sales, you're not confident, and long term you want to get out of sales, you're better off really going into this fully for the next couple of months and get the revenue in so that you can scale out the business. And this is why a lot of people work with us. A lot of people go, I want revenue. And you go, okay, cool, that's great. Everyone wants revenue. But actually, where do you want the business to be? Where are you trying to get it to? And then what you need to do is reverse engineer all the processes of what you're actually trying to achieve. And when you reverse engineer it, you start building the things that you are missing. I'll give you a prime example. If people work with us on conversations to clients, we'll help you generate more sales. We'll build out your system, build out your pitch, build out your objections. We'll build out the client journey. We'll also build out your ads and hiring kit for how to hire salespeople, how to get them in the first 30 days, give them the training manuals, the whole thing. So that means that people can get out of the actual sales process, or they can get an appointment set up and know how to train them because they've suddenly got all the tools that they need to move that business forward. And this is one of the biggest hurdles that we face for a huge amount of our businesses is you are working so hard in the business, you're not getting the chance to work on the business. Some nice boats going past now. I'll lift you up a little bit, you might see a bit, but no. This is so nice. See how nice those boats are? I'll show you guys LinkedIn. You can see behind me. You can see TikTok. Such a nice little view for us to have for working. So we want to start thinking about it and start going, okay, so if we're at the stage now that we're trying to move all this forward, let's move it up. There you go. We've got to start thinking, if you don't have the time now to move all the things forward that you need to move forward to scale the business out, when's it going to happen? Because if you're not doing it, or you're not experienced on doing it, or you're not confident in doing it, are you just going to guesswork your way through? And what's the cost of you doing that? And not just saying about revenue, stress, overheads, failure, time. All of these things have a direct impact on what's happened with our businesses. And it's so important to realize that all of this stuff stems back from revenue. Because actually, if you're at the stage now, prime example, a lot of the solar companies we work with, for example, they might be under 50 grand a month, founder-led sales. If we know we can get them to 150 grand a month and scale their team out, they're like, great, this is amazing. If we've got teams now in recruitment that are outreaching or cold calling to businesses and they know they can scale themselves out, get their time back and double the revenue, great, that's what they want. But for that to happen, they need to have a system in place to make that happen. Because if you don't have a system in place, it's like the best car park going past. If you don't have that system in place, you're just staying on the hamster wheel continuously for what we've got. Right, I'm going to come around and do a couple of questions, just because I know we had a few. Right, I'm going to scroll up, so it's going newest first. Dan Allen, sorry. Morning, Dan. What if you're not the cheapest in the market? Instead of we won awards, what should be the focus? Okay, this is a great question. We're not the cheapest. And just because someone's the cheapest doesn't mean people automatically choose them. Some people will choose the cheapest and they will shop purely on price. If you're not the cheapest, that's not what you're looking to be able to do. Personally, for me, I don't want to buy the cheapest. Even if someone's trying to convince me that actually the cheapest is the best, internally, I don't believe it. So you need to start tailoring that into how we're doing it. Prime example, again, I talk about solar a lot because we do a lot in solar at the minute. A lot of the solar companies I talk to, when people are talking about spending 12 grand, for example, on a solar system, 15 grand on a solar system, and there's people out there that have solar systems for 8, it's very similar to buying a car. None of you on here now have got the cheapest car on the planet, so there was cheaper cars out there. You can hear like the rumble of it. There's powerboat week up here, so all the big powerboats have been going out. And I can hear, oh, literally you can see. If you look now, look at this powerboat going now. How sick is this? Take a look. Download that. You can see in the background here, the powerboats that were racing yesterday, are all off, going back to their homes. Beasts of things. So, if you don't drive now the cheapest car in the planet, why did you choose that car over the cheapest car? Is it safety? Is it comfort? Is it looks? Is it function? And there'll be a lot of different reasons why different people do it. So you need to start being able to sell it. And actually, a lot of people, you shouldn't be selling on price anyway. Most of you out there, you're selling a result. You're selling fixing a problem. You're selling a service which fixes a problem. And some people are going to have a higher expectation. If they pay more, they're going to get it better, quicker, faster. They're going to get it to a different standard. And actually, two products identical is not likely. For most people, they're comparing apples to oranges. That's a lovely boat, by the way. They're comparing, like, look at these for these boats going out now. Like that boat there is probably 80 grand. You could find the same size boat for maybe 40. You can find the same size boat for 500 grand. The difference is going to be the spec. And that's going to come down to what people are trying to achieve when they're buying the actual thing. So hopefully that helps. The award stuff as well. A lot of people talk about awards. I don't really think awards make a big difference. I think people doing it for marketing can help build better branding, but actually buying it based on awards, I don't think makes a big difference. Okay, so I think that was those. I don't know if there's any questions on this one as well. Okay, so Adam Hendry on TikTok. By the way, you've got YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, TikTok. How do you sell things that you're not passionate about? I think there's a big difference between selling things that you're passionate about and products and services that are still good. I don't need to be passionate about something to sell it. I love what I do, but actually I want to help other people. And whether if it's something that you're not passionate about, does it still help the other person? And actually be passionate about helping other people fix their problems. I think that's as big a thing than anything else. Or change industry. Lord ETG, should I price condition on my initial appointment booking call solar panels or average order value 10 grand? Okay. I don't think you should price condition, but qualifying around hypothetical makes a big difference. So I will talk to people about hypotheticals all the time. And you might say something along the lines of, okay, cool. So hypothetically, say we come out and you love this and you wanted to move forward. Our ranges can go anywhere from £8,000 to £30,000. If you did decide to go ahead when we meet up, how would that be done? Are you moving money around? Do you need financing plans? Give me a bit of an idea. So you're having a conversation around hypothetical rather than anything else. And what you want to do is talk about the future next steps of what you're doing and understand why that happens. But reach out, happy to chat. We've got some big things going on there. I think that was everyone. Oh, there's one there from Jack Dyson. Advice needed. We do good numbers, quality leads coming in, but can't get the first appointment. I'm really not sure what your industry is. So this is when we say sales, by the way, everyone. Saying sales is like saying sports. You've got inbound, outbound, B2B, B2C, 1 call, 2 call, 3 call close. You've got enterprise sales. There's so many different variables. But if you are still here, Jack, drop me a message. Happy to have a chat. Right, I'm going to go off and enjoy bank holiday. I'm going paddle boarding, and then I'm going to go out and get some steps in. So have a good day. Hopefully you guys are finding this of use. We're going to try and get some more of these done. If I can be of any help to you, please do reach out. More than happy. Skin Tocket, I've just seen that. Any tips on selling recruitment? Okay. So we'll do this real quick before I jump off. If you're selling into recruitment, it comes down to a number of different areas. What industry you're in, what part of the industry, and who your competition is. If you're small, you want to focus on the benefits of being small and why being lost on a number. And actually selling on, we were talking about earlier, on the hypothetical makes a big difference. A lot of people are just trying to strong arm into, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, we do this better than anyone else. And that might be true. But if everyone's saying that, it doesn't help. I've worked with 4 recruitment companies, and it really depends on your niche, your service, and what you're trying to do. But do reach out. Let me help you. I'm more than happy to do that. Go and have a great day. Right, TikTok, we'll get rid of you first. Yep. Have a good day. Oh, what's going on there? See you later. Thanks for tuning in. Instagram, good to see you. See you later. And then YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Good to see you all. Go and have a good day. Reach out if I can help.